So hey, it's Tong Sao again, and this is a well, a little bit of an introduction. I've been playing guitar since 1990, about mid winter of 1990, and had a terrible time trying to learn how. And then it just a few things that just kind of propelled my skill that I feel like I need to pass on to all you guys who are trying to learn how to play lead. This video is only a very basic thing. So if you've been playing guitar for 5 years, just skip this. So it's just to waste your time. Okay. So for you beginners out there that are learning lead, okay, and maybe for some of you that want the refresher, there are three, count them, three basic guitar patterns. Now, once you learn those patterns, you can expand it. So you can mix the two patterns together and call that another pattern. But the reality is there's only three. And if you want to reduce it, there's probably an easier way to reduce it to two. The first thing that you need to know in order to do these, in order to get into lead playing, is understand the three patterns that that consist of the entire fretboard in normal notation or Western Greek musical theory, and that is the standard major minor scale kind of thing. And a minor scale is a major scale in a different mode. Okay, let's not even go there yet. So the first thing, just the basic thing, you guys who have like picked up a guitar, you bought it yesterday, you can follow along with this, I promise you. And if it's too boring for you guys that have been playing for years and years, just hang on for a half a second, because I'll try to go through this quickly, because I hate videos that just keep dragging on. Anyway, so just kind of like this one. So the first thing, we're going to start on the B. So imagine we're in the C scale, which is C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C. Okay? Hopefully you got an access to a piano chart, or you understand what piano keys look like, and you can kind of relate. The piano and the guitar have very similar traits, although you can only play 6 to 8 notes at a time on a guitar, depending on the guitar, and 10 notes on the piano unless you bend and whatever. Who cares? Shut up. So starting on the C, which would be, and I know I'm kind of far away, I like to do it this way so you can kind of see what kind of rhythm I have here. The C on the E string, which is the 6th string on this guitar, is the 8th fret. Okay, so if you have no idea what a fret is, that's these little bars here. So I count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Now I don't actually play in front of it, I play behind it. And of course you always want to play as close to the fret as possible. If you play back here on the closer to the 7th fret, you can actually get a different sound. Well, if you can't hear it, some mechanical electronic device can probably go, whoa, that's 2 different notes. So the reality is the C is on the 8th fret of the E string, or the 6th string. I hate that because I say that's the 1st string, but whatever. The modern convention is this is the 1st string down here, 2nd, 6th. Okay, so the first note in a C scale would be C. The 7th note in the 6th scale is always right next to the 1st note. So ignore everything I've just said and focus on this if you have no idea what I just said. The 7th note in a scale is right next to the 1st note. Sometimes you can call it the 8th note, and that doesn't mean the speed in which you play it, but the 8th note in a scale. So if you see chord charts and they say C, add 9, so the 9 is actually the second note in that scale. I bet you didn't know that. No, of course you did. Some of you are going, of course I know this, you're boring me. All right, so the 2 pattern. We call this the 2 pattern because it uses the second finger. Amazing. But what we're going to do is we're going to reduce the concepts that we're learning into some very simple structures so that you can get really far advanced into music theory really quickly. So playing the 7th, 1st, and 9th note of that scale, or root, maybe you're thinking root. That's what we call a 2 pattern. If I go down from there, and that's the 7th, 1st, and 11th, then the 3rd, I'm sorry, and 9th, oops. Then the next one is a 2 pattern as well in that scale. Okay, now this is also on my other video, so I'm not going to repeat it. So check out my other video and you'll get all the way across the strings. The second pattern in the guitar is what we call a 3 pattern. Now I'm going to move down in the same scale, just move down to play this position right here with my pinky where my ring or my middle finger was, and my ring finger where my first finger was. So I just slid down from here to do it with these 2 fingers. So I can play it with the first 2 or the second 2, or the ring finger and the pinky. Just watch, don't pay attention to what I say. Okay, so this is called the 2 pattern. The 1, 2, 4. See, first finger, second finger, fourth finger. This one, as I move it down, is what I call the 3 pattern because I'm using the 3rd finger. Notice that the 3rd finger was up here. I'm putting it way up here for emphasis. When you bring it up, don't bring it up too high because you want to stay close to the fretboard. So don't play like this. Play like this. So it barely looks like you're moving. So down here, if I move that, it's a 3 pattern. So that's the second pattern. There's only one more pattern, and that is the 5 pattern. And if I move this finger down to there, this finger down to there, and this finger down here, this is skipping a fret in between each one of them. This is called a 5 pattern. Now, all you need to do is practice these 3. So this is, you can play it with the ring finger or the middle finger, or you can play it with the ring finger instead of the pinky. Depending on where you are, you might find that easier. Like for instance, if you're down here, you can play it with the first 3 fingers. Okay, so, but the point is, you want to exercise your fingers to the point where you can play and then exercise the pick. We'll talk about that some other time. But don't play like this, right? But once you get those 3 patterns down, you can play anything. And I promise you this, and we'll look at it more in the next video segments that I may or may not do. So, have a good day.